Okay, go ahead. We're back. Sorry, guys.
We are back.
Dude, he's been through
We are back. We might have to do a part 2 for the video, but that's all right.
Yeah, whatever.
People still love us. But so we were talking about bombing, and I think people don't realize, everybody thinks that bombing's bad. I think bombing is really good for you as a comedian because
I realize now, yeah.
it makes you examine. As long as you're a good comedian, you know, some people will blame the crowd. Oh, it's just the crowd. It's the crowd. You know, it wasn't me. But if you look at yourself and say, what did I really do? What wasn't working? You know, what do I have to change? Then you're like, shit, I don't want to happen again. So then you go out and you do better.
Because you see other comedians bomb and you try to learn from what they do.
Yeah.
Like if no disrespect, but if I'd seen you bomb or something, I'd be like, oh shit, not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I did a show with you in North Branford. Where I didn't bomb. I made everybody laugh. But it was like it was a weird situation.
That place is actually out of business now.
I know it is.
But that was a tough room. That was I'm sure
bar.
you've encountered. Yeah, it was a biker bar. But like like, have you ever been in a room where like the architecture of the room doesn't really lend itself to comedy?
Yeah, right. Because
like
people
this
can't
place,
see all the way, and there's like people sitting up there, and there's people sitting on the side of it and behind the stage.
There was basically a huge wall that like jutted out, and
but the
it
stage
separated.
It had potential.
Yeah, it separated a lot of the audience from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So just that fact alone meant that you were kind of, no matter which way you turned, you were like avoiding a part of the audience.
The way you fix that with an awkward venue, and I've learned it because I've done plays at awkward venue, is to make sure it's on a Friday or Saturday and you pre-sale tickets, because then people are coming, they paid, they know what they're getting, they know it's a show, and when they sit down they pay attention, like Joker's Wild on the weekends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mix between open mic where nobody's listening and the headline shows on the weekends where everybody's listening. And to be a promoter, a third-party promoter, and have to meet in the middle in the days in between, the Tuesdays to Thursdays to late Fridays or whatever, you got to learn to adapt in between both of those. I think.
You really have to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's like just one of the biggest parts about being a comedian is trying to adapt to the audience, and the only way you could do that is from experience. It's from bombing.
Mm-hmm.
It's from crushing. I mean, it's from everything.
Oh yeah, I've learned
really
stuff when I crushed, and I'm like, wow, I think I just, after a while you realize, wow, was that crowd really just set to crush? Like the show in Stratford, I think you could have said anything up there and killed. When I say it was the best show of my life, I mean the people were so loud. It felt like I was already on HBO or something, you know, but it was not because of me. Well, it could have been, you know, but it wasn't like, oh, Vinny Beedle's here. It's not like they all, 400 people came to see me, but like I said, it could have been anybody. So sometimes you crush and you're like, well, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's good though.
You got to pump the brakes a little bit
exactly.
and say, oh shit, I'm gonna be in the Angry Bull on Tuesday in front of like the same bartenders who hate me because I always try to hit on them on stage.
Has that ever worked out for you over there? They seem pretty cute. I mean,
no, but we keep trying, right, Dan?
Nice. No. I gotta make another Tuesday up there.
He goes, yes, and then he realizes this is live, and he goes, no. Hope if one of those two viewers is your girlfriend, you're getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, right. It's fine. We told him before.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
You just gotta say allegedly. That's all you gotta
do. Well, he could try to help you. That's nothing, you know.
Alyssa, this is a comedy podcast.
He's being a good wingman.
I love you.
Wing dog.
And anyways.
Yeah. So was that your worst bombing experience? You think the one you talked about?
Yeah, definitely. To this date, yeah, absolutely. I think.
What do you think?
I don't think anything like that'll ever happen again. Right. I think what you learn from it is if you're going up in front of a huge crowd as opposed to like a comedy club setting, you have to have your act down. Crowd work does not work, and that's where I'm the strongest is the crowd work. You have to have your set down, whether it's good or not. You have to commit to it. Whatever your act is, you have to commit to it. Yeah. Because when you go up there, and I realized it left as soon as I kind of strayed off of what I was trying to do. And I've been in front of the big crowds now a bunch of times. The 400 or 500 people I've gotten invited to a bunch of times, charity events or whatever it is, and I realized you just got to commit to what you're doing. Yeah. Even if the people aren't listening to you. I've been to charity events where there's a couple hundred people and nobody's even there for comedy, so nobody's listening to you. But you're up there committed to your 15-minute act or whatever it is, or 10-minute act. And after a while, they're like looking over at you because they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's still in the middle of it."
Yeah.
And nobody's listening, you know. So
now
that's the main thing.
You said before that like there was a point when you first started out where you didn't feel like you were yourself. Was that bombing? Was that moment?
No, that was because I wasn't. Yeah, right. Because I wasn't bombing. That's right. Because I had started comedy and not bombed, like ever. Besides open mics when nobody listened, which I didn't care. Because I used to go up last like every week on Wednesdays.
I hate
but I didn't think I was bombing because there was nobody there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever. But the first time I bombed, I kind of realized at that point I had to change and be me. And I would watch comedy documentaries, and all these Richard Pryor setting himself on fire talking about it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Chappelle came back, and
Mm-hmm.
and everything you see him on now, who's my idol, Dave Chappelle, he talks about what he did in Hartford and like
Yeah.
and how he left and went to Africa. He jokes about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I learned that's why Eddie Murphy's not in comedy anymore, is because he doesn't want to talk about his past. So I realized, good or bad, you have to kind of keep it real in order to
Yeah, you really
progress
do.
as a comedian.
So-
More than you guys even may think now, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm like fully out there. My family hates it. My mother hates what I talk about.
Yeah.
My sisters hate what I talk about. They support me and they think I'm hysterical.
Yeah.
They really do. They think I'm the funniest kid they ever met, but they hate what I talk about because I talk about real shit, you
Yeah,
know?
but that-
Exaggerated real ass shit.
Yeah,
you know?
well, there's a little bit of exaggeration also, and I find that I've been doing that a lot because I've been running a couple open mics a week. So you get a lot of the same comedians, and I'm always up first. And a lot of times there's not a crowd there yet; it's just a comedian. So I just tell them about my weekend, like what I did.
What I would, yeah,
and just
right.
make funny
if
stories
I had
about it.
advice
It's like-
about that, which I don't have much experience in it, but now I do at the Angry Bull, you know, because those few weeks were good, but it's been pretty slow and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So now what I'm learning is to do that, mess with them, talk about them, how they're doing, what you're doing, because if you alter your act and you're like getting more sarcastic because you're used to being in front of comedians, I don't think you're going to progress as much.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, don't do
exactly.
your good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I hear what
Don't
you're
mess
saying.
with your good
Well,
stuff in
don't
front of
play.
the comedians
You don't
every
want to
single
play
time.
for the
Yeah.
the back of the room.
Because
basically.
think about it.
Exactly,
Well, right.
exactly.
If you're making your comedian friends laugh at open mic, which I try to make you guys laugh every
Yeah.
time I'm at an open mic or something, you're learning out that that's something genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Even if I just made it up off the top of my head, because that's where I think I am really strong in comedy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my joke writing. It's not even my stage presence, which is really good. But like my joke writing's terrible. You know, like my topics are terrible. You know, but like seriously, but where I think I'm strong is being able to come up with something like
Yeah.
right off
Making
the top
fun
of my head.
people, that's what he's good at.
Making
is
fun of
making
people, you know,
Yeah.
definitely. You know,
That's good,
so
though.
I think if my joke writing gets there, that's when I'll get to be. But
Yeah.
I'll admit, it took me a long time to admit where I was. Like comedians would always say, "Yeah, that joke's not too good," and I'd be like, "Dude, what are you talking about? It's a funny joke. It's good." You know, but now I can't
Yeah.
be that way, man. You gotta humble yourself and learn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that like when I first started writing jokes, I would be like married to the joke where I didn't want to change it, even if it bombed. But like you got to switch it up, you got to adapt, and that's how you get better. And I
one-
mean, you get better jokes just from writing jokes.
Well,
You just
that's
got to
one
keep
thing
practicing.
that Pat told me is never to throw it away because you can always
Exactly.
come up with something a few years later. And I've actually
I've
done
gone
that.
back. I've done that
Yeah.
a lot too, where
Now that
I
I've been
would
in it
just
a few years,
drop
I can
something
see, yeah,
and then just pick it back
Shit,
up.
remember that joke that sucked now it works kind of a little better. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Or,
you,
like,
you
I
just
would
add
have,
a
like-
different punchline or a different perspective.
Yeah, or one thing I found too is I had like a joke that was like a minute long, but now I just take 10 seconds out of it because that's what worked, and then I just
Yeah.
re-add it into something else. So it's like patchwork, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's really, like in your mind, you're like, well, I want to set it up and I want to do all this, and then you say it and people laugh, but then you do it more and you realize that it takes you too long to get there. So it's like, just get there instead
Yeah.
of driving there. You
Right.
just bang, 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 and
Yeah. Make it a lot easier.
yeah. Sometimes you have the right crowd where you can talk more and they're paying attention, but when you're at a place,
Well, that's
and-
why I've always stayed hosting too,
Yeah.
because it makes it so easy for me to talk to the crowd without
Oh,
having to
yeah.
worry about going in and out of my set.
Yeah.
And I feel like my own shows, I'm going to stay the host for a while anyway, just because I could also do my set in between.
Mhm.
Like most hosts go up for a couple minutes and then bring up the next comic. I'll stay up there 10 minutes if I'm rolling. I
Yeah.
don't care, it's mine. That's why I love the luxury of. Plus, when you promote and you're hosting your own shows. People say, "Oh, well, you're not performing," because a lot of people. This is what I've noticed. A lot of people think that a host is not a comedian.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah,
that
that
too.
is interesting. I've noticed that too. Kind
But
of.
I think I've kind of changed whoever's seen me. I think I've definitely changed their their
Mhm.
I think when they see me, they're like, "Wow, okay, no, he's a comedian," But yeah, a lot of people have told me, "Oh, you're not performing. You're just a host." And I'm like, buddy, I'm not sitting at the front at the podium taking your reservation. Like I'm
Yeah.
on the stage,
Yeah.
So I think after you do that for a little bit, then you could learn how to become a better comedian.
Yeah.
on stage.
Have you ever gone up without any material prepared and just freeballed it for 10 minutes?
90% of the time. Now the only reason I
Really?
have most of my materials is because I've done it so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I first started, it was mostly, a lot of my. I went through a tough period where that was it for like a year. Like
You just went up there without anything prepared?
like without anything. Now I
Wow.
try like nothing, not even notes. Like I don't even write it down. Like I've forgotten the most funniest shit in the world. I think just because I haven't written it down. Because I focused so much on the promoting. If they're 24 hours in a day, I would literally try everything.
Yeah.
To get the people there, that once they were there, I realized I couldn't fail because they wouldn't come back, and that put that enormous pressure on you to perform and make them, laugh.
Did you ever record yourself?
That's the one thing, man, and that's where I've always struggled because I have 2 sets online. One of them isn't even a set; it's like a 2-minute video.
Well, I mean, just for yourself. You know, like, because
but that's the thing.
every
It's
time I
no,
do,
I
yeah.
don't. Video and me are completely.
Well, I mean,
absent.
just even audio.
That's what I mean. Yeah, see, no. That's
I'm
what I
the
should
same
do, too.
way.
But
I
I'm like
have a
at the
lot.
point where I'm divorced to audio because then I will be hearing myself and how funny it was, and then I'm like, God damn it, there's no video with that. Nobody's gonna be able to see it, so I'm
Well,
conflicted.
just for yourself. So I record everything, even open mics and stuff. I don't always
I
go
might
back
as
and
well
listen
start.
to everything.
That's a good idea.
But
It
I do
is.
listen to a lot, especially if I got to laugh, because when you're up there, you really never say anything the same way twice, unless
Yeah.
it's something that you just done a bunch of
know
times.
that you know
So,
your tone of
yeah,
voice or whatever.
and especially at open mic, I'll go there with some ideas, and then I'll just freeball and see how it comes out. And sometimes you get a good reaction. You're like, oh shit, how did I say it? When you get off stage, you forget,
Yeah.
you know. So that's something
Definitely,
that
I want to try that. Then
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
do
gonna
it right
start
on my
playing the
phone.
recorder on. Yeah.
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 Plus, it'll
It's-
keep your phone like lit, won't it? Because my biggest problem too is because I freeball it, time.
Oh.
See, that is one of the biggest reasons I don't get like booked already. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years. You know, why wouldn't I be in a comedy club and stuff? Is because like Treehouse, like I've auditioned for them a few times. I was at Mohegan. Like I've done some funny sets. I've done some unfunny sets with them, but it's all about time and stuff with them. You know, I don't think they've I think they're great people. Obviously, they do a lot for the comedy business in Connecticut, and they've been around forever. But I just wish that some bookers would look at funny
Yeah.
as what's first. You know,
Well,
sometimes.
just get Dan to stop watching a flashlight. That's all. This goes off. Just send me the
Yeah, but this
flashlight.
kid's either drunk or baked or something, and like, you know, I don't know.
Allegedly.
What the
He
hell's going on.
Allegedly,
doesn't have to
everybody.
stay in the
Oh,
car
my
while
God.
you're during the show.
No,
does he?
he's like, I'll be like, I don't want to get into it right now. He's
Yeah.
got a hard time managing him.
So you
He's
guys are
man-
co-managers of each other.
We just kind of, two heads is better than one is
sane.
our. Yeah.
Nice.
No, he calms me down.
Yeah.
Like when we argue with like owners of clubs or promoters and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. He's there to mediate me.
Have you ever like gotten stiffed by an owner or
That
like
was-
got into an argument with an
This
owner? Because
year,
I
got
feel
booked
like
in New Haven at a new nightclub, and they booked me for 2 days, and they told me the budget and everything, and they were supposed to pay me, just me, $200 a night for the 2 days to perform the whole, host the whole thing. They were gonna promote it, everything, and then they
you
had
were
a
gonna
little,
get you were gonna get the comics.
and they had a little budget for the comics too. So the first night was just like me and Mike Briskin. It was only gonna be 2 comics. It was only for an hour and a half each night. It's a nightclub. They just wanted to open the night like that, like they were grand opening of the nightclub. So I said, "Oh, it's a great opportunity to make. You know, this is what comedians look for: jobs.
Yeah.
You know, it's a job.
Yeah.
They want a comedian. Here I am. You know." So I got Briskin for the first night, and then the second night I think was like Lou Graham or something, and it was just gonna be us two, and they were gonna give them like each $100 too. You know, so
Wow.
like it was supposed to be a $300 per night budget.
Yeah.
So me and Danny show up the first night, and there was like first we walked in, there was like 7 people at the bar. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's early, you know.
Yeah.
Those were the owners of the buildings who heard about it and wanted to come, but then there was nobody else there, and it was free. So
Oh,
then,
wow.
like halfway, like telling them, like the owner's not there, the one who told me he was gonna pay me, and the promoter's like, oh well, blah blah blah. Well, you know, come down tomorrow night. It's definitely happen tomorrow night, and we're gonna throw a little bit. What do you say? The cherry on the sundae. And I'm like.
Oh my God.
See, I've never done that, you know? When there's
Yeah.
no money, I'll tell a comedian, hey, buddy, there's nothing. I've never, like, you know, and he's like, yeah, so, yeah, it's tomorrow night, definitely way more, you know, money, way more show, you know, and then we come back the next night and there was nothing. So it was like
Oh,
2
wow.
nights in a row like that. And what are you going to do? You don't have a contract with them or
Is
anything,
that
so-
the?
Yeah.
Can you say what place it is, or you don't want to? Is that the old Hole Hanks? That one?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm good.
And it's a nice place, too, man.
I'm a little New Haven. I know what's going on.
And it's a nice place, too, man. That place would
Yeah.
have kept me. That would have been my net. When I seen it, I envisioned myself there in my place again. I had my third, you know, New Haven successful venue up and running, and all they needed to do was just commit to that one day, and we would have been fine. We would have been ready to.
Have they had people? in
No,
there
and then
now?
I told them the second day, like, fine, forget it. Forget the money you promised me or whatever. Let's just sit back down and negotiate a little budget for promotion, pay for the flyers and stuff, and I'll promote. Like, I actually
Yeah.
went to them, hey, I'm a promoter, not just a comedian. After that, I did do that. But then they said that they didn't have, like, I don't know, that they couldn't do it or they didn't have the funds. But then they started giving away, like, Vegas trips every night. And I'm like, you give away Vegas trips every night, but you can't pay
the same way they
the
paid you
local
$300
comedian.
a night.
Yeah, right, because then they get there like,
Yeah.
actually, there's a map here that
We
get
meant
to Vegas.
we meant Mohegan Sun Vegas. You get a
Not
get a bus
even, man.
ticket.
Not even.
Get a bus ticket.
Yeah, right.
Wh-
Danny
where-
was there though, right? Danny had to calm me down. I went crazy on the guy.
So did you did you do the show?
No.
No, the show was
No
just-
shows.
No one showed up.
Oh, they told me no after that or something. I don't know. So then I started talking about it.
So you've done how many successful venues have you run? 2 or 3?
No. Well, Jokers.
Okay.
I would consider that a success. I've done The first show we ever had there was me. It was in 2010. It was me, Colin Cook, Rob Puglisi, who lives in Los Angeles now.
Okay.
And Rob Gagnon, who lives in Austin, Texas now. They're both very funny guys. They'd be killing it out here. Like, I love them to death.
Are they still doing comedy?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
I don't talk to them a whole lot, but when they were here, man, that one show, Colin wasn't into his own yet, but he was a quirky, like, kind of reminded me of, like, Charlie Day back then. But now he's way different. You know, more matured Colin Cook, funnier, you know? But, like, back then it was, like, a younger, like, talked about being gay a lot and stuff, even though he's not gay. But, like, you know, like, I don't know. That was Colin.
You just got to be yourself.
So we named the first show
Three
3 Guys and a Colin. Because, like, we figured, like, if it was 4 guys, but yeah, so, like, people thought it was 3 guys and a colon, I guess, like, at first. So, like, he kind of got some plug for that. But, no, we did that show, and we had, like, 300 people there that first night.
Wow.
My first one we ever did there. And then I decided to keep going with the promo. See, originally it was going to be us 4. I wanted us 4. I thought we'd be stronger as a team. I always thought that way. Anybody I ever got into comedy with, I always thought you're stronger as a team. More people are better than one. But definitely...
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
I think some more people.
People got to work together
don't
more. I
think like the same though all the time. You know?
Well, there's that, and then there's the. A lot of people don't want to put in all the work; they just kind of want to do the comedy aspect of it.
Yeah, that's
which I understand. I mean, you can't hate people for that.
I know, dude, but like it's like it doesn't bother me. It does bother me. It doesn't bother me when they tell me from the jump.
Yeah.
When they tell me from the jump, and then people do tell me too afterwards too. But what bothers me is when people like really are adamant about the money and stuff, but won't put in any hard work.
Yeah.
And they're not like working crazy day jobs. See, the day jobs I've worked are also crazy day jobs. So like I'm still doing the thing. So I know how hard I work and how many people I talk to, right? Let's say I talk to 1,000 people a week to promote, because that's what I do full time. I'll promote, you know?
Yeah.
If you talk to 100 people and you never are a promoter and you promote a show, you know, maybe 10 of those people or 5 of those people are going to show up, and they're going to bring 1 or 2 people with them each or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or they share it and the word gets out there. So it isn't hard. The problem is a lot of comedians think that if they just go the route of being a comedian, spend all their time getting good as a comedian, yes, they're going to get very good as a comedian. I'm not saying that's not the way to go, and then you get recognized. But the problem is, right, they become a very good comedian that isn't very ambitious about the business side of it.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is there is a business to it.
Yeah.
It's not all about just, you know, but a lot of people don't, you know, whatever. They're not doing it for the money. That's fine. My aspect of it is I think I seen the business side of it early, and I wanted to jump into that. But I work with tons of comedians that never promote my shows, and I understand that that's not what they want, you know, but...
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. There should be at least a minimum that somebody tries.
If you're posting the status, and it gets 25 to 100 likes, and none of those people show up, you couldn't say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? You want to come? Because the more people that do see you, and they see you in a good venue, like my venues are good, and if comedians promoted mine, they'd be fucking amazing, and I'd probably own my own comedy club right now. But, like, and then, you know, we could change the aspect of how this goes. There are people that book comedy, especially in this state, that aren't even comedians.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of,
But it is the way it is, and those guys are going to be pissed at me for saying this, but it's true. People tell me out there I'm not going to get booked at their club. I'm not funny. I make people laugh everywhere I go. Doesn't go great all the time, but how are you know what I mean? And I promote. So like, you know, that and then I see guys, so like a lot of guys don't promote because they think that they're just gonna make it and then the people just show up or whatever. I'm working with guys now that are on TV, that have been on TV, and they promote, you know, they promote their own stuff.
Yeah.
Rip Michaels has flyers and walks around New York with them, you know? He plugs his stuff on Facebook all day long. So as I go, it's not like I'm slowing up because I see these guys not doing it, you know? I opened for Paul Mooney before. He didn't promote. He's 70-something years old. He doesn't need to. He's a comedy legend, you know? But there are certain guys that, like, still, you know, even they're grinding. They're still up and doing it. Until you make it is when you kind of could sit back.
And even when you make it, you're still promoting. You just might have people do it for you. I got an email from Louis C.K. the other day. I mean, you know, it's probably not from him, but you know what I'm saying?
He could be like, you know what, Brandon, you want to come? See DJ in Milford, bro. It's awesome.
Well, I mean, it seemed like something he would write, and obviously it was for a mass email market.
Yeah.
But he's Louis C.K., and he's still sending out emails because he wants people to know about his special.
Vinny
you know
Beedle Facebook messages will go out till the day I die. I don't care if I'm 80 years old. It'll happen. And they can Facebook can keep blocking me, and I will go to Mark Zuckerberg's house and start a physical beef with him if he keeps blocking me from messaging people. So harmless. He's like, this isn't meant for this reason. It's like, well, how am I going to get people to come to my shows?
Yeah.
If I can't
you've got a message that said that before? Or
dude,
people said that?
over the years, that shit comes all the time.
Yeah.
They just block you for like 2 days.
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
like a timeout.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, slow down.
Yeah.
They warn you all the time. Too.
Yeah, I've seen
They're like,
before.
oh, whoa.
So
I've
Facebook
entered-
warns you?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of
Really?
promoting, so I've seen that aspect of it. I've seen
Right?
it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can,
man.
and you can only add so many people per day.
Dude, I
and-
got 3,700 people on my Facebook.
Yeah,
and when
that's what I
that fills up, I'm gonna make a Vinny Beedle 2 and a Vinny Beedle 3.
just make it
and
a
Vinny
fan
Beedle 4.
page. Then you can.
I
go
have
over-
that too. No, there will be more.
No, but
There
I mean, you can convert your. You can.
I just kind of want to Google Vinny Beedle and see like 8 Facebook pages. And I want people to go and try to friend me, and they can't because it's maxed out.
I'm trying to get Jackson to, because he's maxed out and he adds people as he goes, and I keep trying to tell him to turn it into a fan page. I'm like, you'd have so much more advantages. I could see why you wouldn't want to start a fan page from zero, but if you have
I have
5,000,
the fan page from zero. Oh, you could turn your
you
page?
could turn your. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You could turn your 3,700 into a fan page.
See, that's what we're going to talk about.
Boom.
Brandon Smith.
Yes, you could do it. And
Uh-huh.
you can't Google it. You can only do it if you pay me a lot of money, I could tell you. Google
Yeah.
doesn't know how to do it. No, I'm just
We're
kidding.
going to set up
No,
a
I could show you.
secret contract that Dan's going to pay.
I could show you how to do it. I know another comedian that wants to do it, but he he can't do it from his phone, and he's never near a computer, and he doesn't want to give me his password.
I'll just build another Facebook
Yeah.
for me, a personal one.
Yeah, that's all.
And then just get like my personal friends because I really can care less for the people. No, I'm just kidding. I love you all.
Yeah, of course.
3,700 of you.
Well, you could still run it
Come
that
to New
way.
Year's.
You know, if you have that many people, you could still message people and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could still promote, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because then people don't have to. They could just like your page. They don't have to friend you, and then you accept it.
And
so
then
they
I
just
get
like
way
it.
more,
Yeah.
way more people liking it.
Boom.
And, stuff, and it'll start at 3,700.
And then you got to put
So
a
all the
picture
people
of
I'm
your
friends
naked
with will
butt
just
on there.
become
and
fans
then,
of me.
What?
All the people I'm friends with will become fans of me.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference with Facebook. I'm friending them, so they're agreeing to be friends with me, but they're not agreeing to like my comedy. So like, whoa, buddy, let's take it one step at a time. We just became friends.
We just became. Now you want me to come to your
You
show
want me to come to your show and like your page and stuff? This is bullshit.
and buy at least 2 drinks? What kind of shit is this? It's
See,
a
that's
Tuesday.
another thing that I never really like.
The
I
drink
never messed
minimum?
with that. No.
What, the drink stuff?
Not at my stuff. If it's at Joker's, a comedy club, I agree because
Yeah.
they have overhead. and
Yeah,
they-
yeah.
But if it's like a one-night club thing and they have other things going on there, like college night and stuff, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's different for a bar. I
Yeah,
think people
yeah.
are gonna drink anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear
2
ya.
drink minimum on Thursday, the 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to make them enough money so they're like, go
Everything they
ahead.
do, I think they do a 2 drink minimum because they're
Yeah,
a comedy
that's
club,
true.
so.
I
Yeah.
don't know why I haven't been in there in the last year. The only thing I've wanted to do is put people in the seats, like legitimately. That's
Yeah.
it, you know, and break my bread off, and that's it, and go do my thing and progress as a comedian. You know, it's
Yeah.
really like, but I think it's I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm back January 8th, right? So,
Yeah, January 8th. That's
Good
going to be a good show.
Yeah.
That is going to be a good show. I did want to ask you, where did you get your entrepreneurial spirit from? Like, have you always had that? Or did, like, when you first started comedy, did, like, it just hit you one day, like, wow, I need to be promoting too? Or
My biological father has my name, Vinny Beedle, but he was never around my life or anything like that. He's a self-made millionaire though, and he kind of I don't know if you ever heard of the company Mr. Rooter. They're a plumbing company in the red vans. With like
Yep.
the-
Yep.
Yeah. So he owns that company and like numerous other little companies and stuff. And he was kind of like never really a great dude or anything, but I kind of always had that like vendetta. Like he had all the money and never took care of my mom or my sisters and shit. Like it's like it was a big vendetta. He paid child support. Don't get me wrong, but I mean. My mom,
There's a
she was a
difference,
single mother.
yeah.
She with 5 kids, she paid her rent. She
Yeah.
bought groceries. It's not like I was walking around with new shoes every week and stuff. So once that happened, and then I had my mother's brother, Tom, great guy, one of my role models. He's like my father. He's another self-made millionaire, and just through other different trials and tribulations in his life, he kind of lost that too. So I kind of thought I was being prepared, to what not to do when you get to that level,
Mhm.
and thinking like that, you kind of want to become. I mean, I don't care all about the money, but the fame, the money, like
yeah.
that's a part of the reason why we all do this. No, don't you guys all kind of not reason you do it, but you think about it a little bit.
You think about
Like,
it.
oh,
I
hey,
think.
whoa, what what if I get on it? Even if we got
Yeah.
on some corny show or something, you never know.
Or even if you started a podcast that no one watched. We got 2 people.
I think we all.
There's gonna be 500 views easy. Easy.
There's probably gonna be 2. I'm gonna have to figure out how to splice these videos together. It froze up. It's
Colin
weird.
Cook's gonna watch us 13 times himself.
He
and just-
better.
and he's gonna be like, what? Did Vinny call me gay about our first show?
Did he call me colon?
No, it's because he put up a status the other day and he was like listed everybody that we started with, like when it started, without me. And he's like, wow, if only this guy was here, it'd be completely and utterly complete. Nobody else would be involved. And I was like, thanks, Callan. And he's like, sorry, Vin, I'm a dick. But that was funny.
Yeah, no. But getting back to your point, I think like we all do this because we want to be good comedians. But yeah, there is an aspect of being successful in what we love that we all chase, and the fame and the money that might come with that is the icing on the cake.
But that was like how it was young. That's not now. Now I don't even want none of that now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still nice, but what I would like as I grow older is to become a really good comedian, and to own my own club one day, or possibly
Cool.
just own a really good production company. I wouldn't mind Jokers Wild always being my home. I would like to help expand Jokers Wild if that's the thing. Make Jokers Wild 2, Jokers Wild 3, Jokers Wild 4.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I
But
think
I'm sure they're doing that would help me. I'm sure they're planning all that. I'm just saying, if it wasn't Vinny Beedle Comedy Club, I would like to be where I was home. So it's either there with my own production company or own my own comedy club one day. And then aside from that, be able to, on my off nights or when I'm not performing, travel around and get paid to do comedy.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
think with those two things involved, you don't even have to be famous. You can make a good living.
I think it's starting to change too. I think people are starting to get everything now more locally. Like they get their food. It's like you want to get your
the
local
economy's
produce.
bouncing back.
I think people also want to get like their comedy kind of local, and they follow people that they know more now.
Yeah.
Like people watch this podcast, and they could be watching TV.
Everybody wants the dream, and if they don't have the dream, they want somebody that can get the dream.
Well,
So
yeah. Well,
it's another thing too. People like the bandwagon.
plus it's more relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're in Connecticut talking about stuff from Connecticut, talking about this bullshit, somebody from Connecticut watches it, and if you think about people that are watching this now or taking the time to watch it on YouTube, they could be watching TV. They could be watching Netflix.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think that's how everything's kind of changing. I wonder if that shift, because of the internet and people could do whatever they want, I wonder if it's going to change the way people get their entertainment.
I remember talking to a lot of older comedians, even to this day, about how it was in the 80s, and they said, Vinny, somebody like you in the 80s making $70,000 a year right now doing what you do. But
I've heard that same thing.
When the internet popped and everybody could watch it on the phone for free, and the economy collapsed, it made it almost impossible to try to get a comedy show going.
Yeah.
That's how I know I'm going to be successful at this, because during those times, I was getting people to come to comedy shows.
Yeah.
In turn, the economy's getting better. People are kind of bored with their phones, hopefully, and the same Kevin Hart thing. They watch every single special the guy has.
Yeah.
I would love to meet you, Kevin, and I think we could work great together, but you do the same shit every single time, and you make it really easy for Davey to just do his set and act like a celebrity and not show up to the podcast. I love you, Davey. So with all that being said, dude, I think that all collectively and what you said is starting to make the comedy scene pop again.
Yeah, I think it really is, and it's good
I'm
that
feeling
people
it,
like
man.
you are getting up there and taking advantage of it. I
Yeah.
did a few shows
You are
too,
too,
but
man.
yeah,
You're doing your thing. You got
I
it.
got it. We
doing
should get together and do something.
Brandon, that would be great. Milford,
Definitely.
I'm telling you, even like SVC's a great venue. Gaetano's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good venues in Milford. Orange, Bear and Grill. I'm starting an open mic there in Bear and Grill in Orange. So,
What night?
Monday night, I
Oh,
think.
nice.
Yeah, so we could do that. I'm trying to bounce where you guys are. I did that in Hartford with the Hungry Tiger on Tuesdays. And I'm trying to make Anthony D's in Milford. That's Mondays, and then you could coexist with a late night in Orange,
Yeah.
and then I could help boost yours and that one. I mean, you could definitely, if I'm going to get into the open mic scene, I want to get to the point where my business is running so good where I don't even have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to be at the open mic sometimes. I'll come host them sometimes. I'll come perform on the open mics, but I want to get to the point where, if you put 2 open mics like that, you're telling more comedians, hey, I can get on stage 2 different places.
Yeah.
So I can come down and do that. So now they have more than one reason to drive from an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm contacting comedians from Springfield, Providence, New York, Boston, New Jersey, Connecticut. Anybody will drive anywhere for some stage time. So that's what I think.
Awesome.
That's why I came up with that Orange one.
That's a good idea, because I didn't do it for
I actually already have a
December.
deal with them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
guys, it's ready to go. So
I didn't do it for December, but I'm going to get it started in the new year.
yeah.
So
We'll coexist them.
awesome.
Definitely
and then
should.
the thing also,
Maybe make a dual flyer together too.
yeah, let
And
me
then
know.
pass it out so people want to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll think of something.
Yeah, because you can get Budweiser or anybody to do that stuff. I mean, they love.
Well, Angry Bull's
you know.
got Coors Light that's making everything now.
Oh yeah, or
and- And I
there's
know a couple, but everything. Anybody will jump on any of
Yeah,
that stuff.
just
you
to get
just
their
gotta
name
be
on it.
proactive and get out there. I haven't even taken advantage of a whole lot of that.
yeah.
But again, it's like struggling to maintain your business and keep it going. It costs a lot of money and then time, and like you have to work a day job to pay for that. So like you don't have the physical time in the day.
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot.
why
yeah,
Danny's gonna start helping me, and I'm just gonna start. I'm slowly showing him the things I know about this, because he's not a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Danny doesn't have any experience in this, but where Danny Strong is, he's loyal, and
Not like these hoes, because these fucking hoes ain't loyal.
No.
Sorry, I like to
sometimes
derail
he acts
people.
like a hoe. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Sometimes
can't help it, man.
sometimes I call him up and he's just hoeing around. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, hoeing around.
Never said that before.
I never said it. Never.
Danny's an aspiring DJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
I
wants
could show you some things.
Yeah.
One or two. Come down to SBC.
He loves EDM,
yeah.
man. Yeah, and he could pop that up.
I could show you how to ruin people when they come up excited to ask for their song. You're like, sorry, I can't play that. They get so mad.
Well, I mainly want to
No.
produce, so
Oh, yeah? That's cool.
Using the
I got a
Ableton.
couple friends that do that, too.
get the Ableton push.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I got a couple
He's
friends
gonna
that...
DJ, so he could DJ
you know
the
any
comedy
of
shows
the-
I throw, and then he has something to do besides get drunk. And
Get drunk and
Awesome.
then drive you home.
I end up driving home sometimes, pissed off in Hartford, and I had some drinks, and I'm like, this kid's hammered. I got to do it.
I feel like you had a really successful lemonade stand when you were a kid. Is that true?
Like
I
Ed and
used-
Eddie? I see Ed and
Dude,
Eddie.
I'm not. I started cleaning cars at like 13. So before that, I don't even remember what the hell I was doing before that. Like probably hood rat stuff. Yeah, just like whatever, you know. I
Awesome.
did a lot of sports and stuff when I was young.
Oh, really?
So I think you know, like baseball, basketball, football. I love golf. I play golf a lot. But yeah, I think like then I think I was more focused on like the friends and stuff like that. But still made people laugh all the time, right? Like in
Yeah.
school. School was crazy, man. Kids used to walk around the hallway, 10 kids at a time, just to see who I would make fun of or what I would do. Because I didn't care like about the school part, and then like once class started, I would clown and
Yeah.
you know stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
I think I was thinking about this because I remember talking to my cousin over the holidays, and I remember thinking about my experiences in high school, how they reprimand kids. There's like no way to find out if someone's going to be a comedian. You know what I mean? They should pull those kids aside and
Well-
say, "Listen, we have the job for you." You
Well,
know what I
I'll
mean?
tell-
Like you can make people laugh, which is way more important than I mean, it's important to fix someone's toilet. Yes, it's important to
Yeah.
fix someone's car. Yes, but it's important to make people
It
laugh
is.
too.
Yeah.
But nobody. You know, you don't.
well, the
cultivate it.
drama.
You got to get there.
I
on
wasn't
your
into
own.
drama.
You got, but you got to be the kind of person who's like, I want to be a comedian and fuck what everyone's gonna say. You know what I mean?
That really is all it is.
Yeah.
But that's what it is too. Is when you get out of like when you escape.
But can you
it-
imagine if they had a program where
Oh,
like,
I
oh,
know.
you're funny,
would be
you
great.
could be a writer. You know, you're Jewish, you could be a writer.
It
Just
would.
kidding.
It would literally
Come on.
probably take. It would literally take
Boom.
like. It's a huge, definitely a huge market, man. And I
Yeah.
think that's where comedy school comes into play.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to teach a comedy class, but I know every comedian in the world will be like, who the hell's Vinny Beedle teach a comedy class? But I think like hosting, I would love to teach a class on stage presence and how to fuck with the crowd, because I think a lot of comedians would love to come, especially after seeing me host. Not take my advice on anything funny, because you know you'll have to create your own funny, but just like pointers on
Yeah.
what I've
Yeah.
dealt with and how I've done it, because I've hosted.
Comedy
Couple
school, I think,
hundred
is a good
shows, you
idea.
know?
Yeah.
Just because there's so many people that don't know how to get into it. And I tell those people, a lot of people, I tell them to come down to my open mic, and I've had a few people that their first time was at one of my open mics, you
Yeah.
know. And
Oh, I
this
do
one
that all the
kid,
time too.
Sean McKay, big shout out to him. He came, then I put him on a show that
I
I
think I might
had.
be friends with him.
Yeah, probably. He's a funny dude. And
friend
I put him on a show at Murphy's. He brought some friends down, had a great time. And it's great. I mean, I was only doing it a year at the time, but to see somebody else go through that, you know, and it's
Dude,
like,
I've done that a lot.
yeah, oh, I can imagine.
Like Davey was referred to me.
Mm-hmm.
Davey had been into comedy, I guess, back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and he had always made videos and stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. Right away, not one of the kids I would take credit for. Very funny dude. You know, like off the rip, I knew. I watched the videos and be like, oh, okay, he's making videos on YouTube and stuff every day. So.
Mm-hmm.
He got referred to me from a girl who would come to a lot of my shows named Jessica, and she asked me to put him on a show, so I put him on a show. He brought like 50 heads the first time, so I thought
Wow.
that's why I thought me and him were gonna be two peas in a pod. But he really is like, he loves being like the star of the show. But I'm starting to learn that a little bit. Like I told him a few months ago, I was like, dude, we'll bring you right in, like the green room, bring you some, like even if it's like not an important show, I like try to bring him in like he's the.
Oh, like he's the talent. Yeah, like
I think he likes that.
stroke his ego a little bit. Hey, whatever works, right?
Like he doesn't even like riding in the car with other comedians to shows, because even though he drives like a nice Accord, like he wants to in his mind us think he's pulling up in a limo or something, you know. So like, he can't give me a ride in his Accord because like it's not baller enough.
Well,
or
you know what
something.
they say, fake it till you make it. So I mean, he
Yeah,
He's
just
doing a good
exactly.
job. I'm
Yeah,
riding around in
that's
my
awesome.
buddy's fucking beat up '96 Sentra over here at every show.
boom.
Hey, you get there, right?
Hey, you get
Yeah.
there. That's
We've
awesome.
had that
that's
car since he
right.
was 16, dude. That was like, we've been everywhere. He's brought me to New York multiple times in
yeah.
that car.
Shit.
We've been everywhere.
I
in
was
that
thinking
car.
about that today. This is like an off-topic thing, but I have a '91 Benz, so it's really old. But you can't really tell because everything was modeled after those Benzes, like the Acuras and everything, way
Yeah,
up till
yeah,
the
yeah.
2000s. So, but anyway, so I'm driving in it, and I'm thinking, if somebody saw me, like, oh, it's an old car. But what if somebody 200 years ago saw it? They'd be like, oh my God, you could get there without a horse? That thing is awesome.
Yeah, right,
But
exactly.
people nowadays like, it's a fucking 91. You know what I mean? People are such
Right,
douchebags.
like when I don't have a ride to a show and Capone pulls
Yeah.
up in his Sentra, I look at that thing like it's gold.
That's what I'm saying, man.
and we roll up the J, and it
Yeah.
becomes the Magic Mobile.
But you know how it is, like
Exactly. That's
especially
all you
being in the
need.
car business. I was in the car business too for a long
Oh,
time.
did you?
So people want
And me and you
the newest-
auditioned at a car
newest thing.
dealership
Yeah,
together.
that was
You
yeah.
were
right.
there
I
too.
was there
We
too,
met at
yeah.
a car dealership.
That's where we met. That's where I didn't meet you there, but
Oh man.
Oh, you guys, that was the first time
That
you
was
guys
the first
met?
time we met.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
But like I kind of seen Brandon at first, and I seen the mohawk and everything, and I was like, you know, who's this guy? Because you guys don't understand. That was the first event I'd been to in a very long time that was any kind of an open mic type setting.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't go to open mics mainly because once the Joker's thing happened, like I wasn't going there anymore. Actually, yeah, when I started throwing the shows in New Haven, I kind of became banned from there for a little bit. That's how it happened because I was throwing shows so close. So it was never a personal thing.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like I broke stuff or fuck, you know what I mean? It was
Oh,
more or
right.
less because I was the competition, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I haven't done anything in New Haven in so long. I was trying and still to prove to them that I'll go back, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cost me a lot of money in the last few months.
Wow.
Think about it. I haven't thrown a show in New Haven since, when was the last time, Dan? Like March? Or
Oh,
May.
wow,
No,
yeah.
May.
Wow.
May. So I've gone all those months without throwing shows in New Haven, going to Milford, going to Hartford, failing, flat on my face. It's been good. It's been building me up as a promoter and I've been getting new people from other areas. Hartford's starting to build a little bit too, but I've completely neglected. That's why there's 50 people already coming to Joker's Wild because they haven't seen me in 6 months. In New Haven.
That's
Oh,
good then.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good
that's
growth.
good.
But that's the thing, man. Is you got to put them off so that when it happens, I don't go to. I go there, guns firing, and they, you know, put me back on. They've been giving a ton of guys third-party shows there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron's done a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Moon's
If you
done
could
a couple
pack
of
it, man,
them.
that's you know.
Yeah, and these are all guys I've been throwing the shows before anybody, man. I've been throwing these shows for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we
think it'll be
are,
the beginning of a
just
new
about out of
relationship.
Let's
time.
hope so. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
I hate to say that, but we're over by a few minutes. But is there anything you want to talk about again before we go?
Everybody come to New Year's Eve.
Yes, New Year's Eve.
How,
Hit him
how
up.
can they reach you?
Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook.com/Vinny
Vinny Beedle.
Vinny Beedle or comedian
It's
Vinny Beedle.
VINNYBEEDLE.
All right, or you can call me at 203-376-4980. Please prank call me if you're looking for a fight.
If you're looking for a fight.
Aside from that, Joker's Wild, January 8th. It's a Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Yes, you
Make
can
your
see Adam there
reservations now.
too. You can
Yes,
see
Adam
co-host
Prue.
Adam Prue.
Adam Prue will be there.
It's going to be
Alright.
a great show.
And you can also check us out on comedylol.com.
Oh, tomorrow night we're going to be at the Angry Bull. If you guys want to come for open mic night, tomorrow
Yeah.
night at the Angry Bull, if you're not
Cool.
doing nothing, we're going to be in Hartford, 103 Allen Street. Besides all that, no, I'm all set. Davey didn't make it. I'll text him.
That's all right.
He's a great dude.
Next time.
He's working man.
Cool.
American dream.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
All right, cut.